The Galactic Council had seen many species rise and fall across the millennia. They had witnessed civilizations bloom like flowers in spring, only to wither when faced with the harsh realities of interstellar politics. But never had they seen a response quite like humanity's. Admiral Kethvar of the Zolonian Empire adjusted his optical sensors as he observed the emergency session from his command vessel. The holographic display showed representatives from dozens of species, their forms flickering in the blue light of the council chamber. At the center stood Ambassador Sarah Chen, her small human frame dwarfed by the towering insectoid hive queen and the crystalline mass of the Shard Collective's representative. The destruction of Haven Colony was regrettable, droned the hive queen, her mandibles clicking with artificial sympathy. But the Terran Federation must understand, the Void Reapers are beyond any single species' ability to combat. Perhaps it is time to consider strategic withdrawal from the Outer Rim territories. The crystalline being pulsed with agreement, its harmonic voice resonating through the chamber. The Shard Collective concurs. The humans have lost 12 colonies in 6 months. Logic dictates retreat to more defensible positions. Ambassador Chen stood motionless for a long moment, her dark eyes reflecting the chamber's light. When she spoke, her voice was quiet, almost conversational. Haven Colony had 8 million souls, families, children, artists, farmers, teachers, dreamers. She paused, letting the words settle. The Void Reapers left nothing but glass and ash. Such is the nature of extinction-class threats, the Hive Queen replied with what passed for gentleness among her kind. Your species is young. You will learn that sometimes survival requires no. The single word cut through the chamber like a blade. Chen's posture straightened, and something in her expression made several representatives shift uncomfortably. Admiral Kethavar, she continued, turning to address the Zolonian directly. Your people once told us that humans were too emotional for interstellar warfare, too attached to individual lives to make the hard choices. Do you remember? Kethavar's throat sacs inflated slightly, a sign of unease. Yes, Ambassador. My words were spoken in concern for your species' well-being. You were right about one thing, Chen said, a smile playing at her lips that didn't reach her eyes. We are emotional. We are attached. And today, the Terran Federation made what you might call a very hard choice indeed. She gestured, and the chamber's main display shifted to show a star chart. At first, it appeared normal, the familiar constellation of systems along the outer rim, trade routes marked in blue, human colonies in green. Then the scale shifted, and the representatives began to murmur in confusion. The display showed ships, not dozens, not hundreds, but thousands upon thousands of vessels, spreading across space in a formation so vast it defied immediate comprehension. Dreadnoughts the size of cities moved alongside carrier groups that could house entire populations. Manufacturing ships, supply vessels, mobile dry docks, hospital ships, and weapons platforms formed a grid of metal and energy that stretched across multiple star systems. The 3rd, 5th, 7th, and 9th fleets were already mobilized, Chen explained conversationally. But that wasn't enough. Not for Haven, not for the 8 million souls who trusted us to protect them. The display zoomed in, revealing more detail. Each ship was marked with identification codes, and the numbers began to scroll. Fleet designations that went far beyond what any species had thought humanity possessed. So we sent the 1st fleet, the 2nd, the 4th, the 6th. Chen's voice never rose, never showed strain, but something cold had entered it. We emptied our shipyards, pulled vessels from deep patrol, recalled every exploration ship from the rim. We sent the Colonial Defense Forces, the System Guards, the Merchant Marine Auxiliaries. A new voice cut through the stunned silence. Impossible, hissed the Serpentine Coalition's representative. No species maintains such numbers. The resource cost alone would... We sent the reserve fleets, Chen continued as if the interruption hadn't occurred. Ships that hadn't seen service in decades, crewed by volunteers who came out of retirement. We sent the training vessels with their instructors and cadets. We sent the museum ships. The display showed the truth of her words. Ancient vessels flying alongside modern dreadnoughts, their hulls bearing the scars of humanity's first tentative steps into space. Ships that should have been in mothballs now bristled with retrofitted weapons. We sent everything, she said simply. Every ship that could mount a weapon and carry a crew. And when that still wasn't enough, we sent the civilian fleet, cargo haulers with missile pods welded to their hulls, passenger liners converted to assault ships. Mining vessels loaded with explosives, scientific research ships carrying experimental weapons that haven't finished their safety trials. The chamber had fallen completely silent. Even the ever-present hum of the station's systems seemed muted. The combined fleet numbers 847,000 vessels, Chen continued. They are crewed by 2.3 billion humans who volunteered for what we are calling Operation Righteous Fury. The fleet is so large that when it drops out of hyperspace in the Kepler 442 system, where our intelligence indicates the Void Reapers are massing, it will literally obscure the light of the system's star from the perspective of nearby worlds. Admiral Kethvar found his voice, though it came out as barely a whisper. 3 billion souls. That's nearly 20% of your entire population. Yes, Chen acknowledged. It is. But the resource cost, stammered the Hive Queen. The logistics alone. Your entire economy must be... Our economy, Chen interrupted, is now entirely devoted to killing every last Void Reaper in this galaxy. Our factories work triple shifts. Our asteroid mines run around the clock. Our agricultural worlds grow nothing but military rations. Every human world has become a fortress. Every citizen a soldier or a supporter of soldiers. She turned to face the full assembly, her expression serene despite the magnitude of what she was describing. You see, esteemed colleagues, you made one critical error in your assessment of our species. You assumed that our attachment to individual lives would make us weak. You assumed that our emotions would paralyze us in the face of extinction-level threats. The display shifted again, showing the massive fleet beginning its final approach to the Void Reaper stronghold. The formation was so large it could be seen from multiple star systems, a constellation of metal and fury advancing through the darkness. You were wrong, Ambassador Chen said quietly. Our attachment to those 8 million souls on Haven Colony didn't make us weak. It made us absolutely, implacably furious. She smiled then, and it was the most terrifying expression any of the assembled representatives had ever seen on a sentient being's face. The Void Reapers wanted to send a message by destroying Haven Colony. They wanted to show us that we were small, that we were vulnerable, that we should fear them. The display showed the first contacts between the human fleet and Void Reaper forces, flashes of light in the darkness as weapons began to fire across the vast distances of space. Today, humanity sends a reply. The last thing the Council saw before the transmission cut to the roar of battle was Admiral Chen's final words, spoken with the quiet certainty of absolute conviction. We are coming for every last one of them, and we will not stop until the very concept of the Void Reapers exists only in cautionary tales, told to frighten children. This is what happens when you touch what belongs to humanity. The chamber remained silent long after the transmission ended, as the representatives contemplated a truth that would reshape galactic politics forever. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology, their numbers, or their tactics. It was that they loved their own so fiercely, they would mobilize an entire civilization for revenge. And in the depths of space, 847,000 ships continued their advance, blotting out the stars themselves in humanity's wake.